Hey guys, how we doing? I'm Joe Gaither, the host of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Most of you guys know me because we talk sports 5 times a week, but I'm not here to talk about sports today. It is football season, but it's also election season right here in Northport, and Northport has a big one coming up August 26th. You've probably already noticed we've been interviewing all the city council candidates. Well, it's time to turn our attention to the other side of the municipal election, the mayor's election. There are four great candidates running for mayor. I'm here to start interviewing them as well. So today, I'm very blessed to be joined by Dale Phillips, candidate for mayor. You guys can all go to your polling locations and cast your votes August 26th. So we will get to know our mayoral candidates and figure out what their platforms are and what their vision is for Northport going forward. Dale, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
me.
much for having me. I love this. I love to get the word out.
Absolutely. And so I'll start it kind of how I started most of the city council candidate interviews is really to tell us a little bit about yourself. Just what do you do outside of your hopes of running for mayor? And really what's your connection to Northport?
I'm a lifelong Tuscaloosa County boy. Grew up in the northern end of the county in the Northport area. Been here my whole life, 60 years. Raised my children here, and I couldn't think of any place that I'd rather call home. I retired from the sheriff's office about 10 years ago, and I've just kind of enjoyed life after a career, so to speak. But since that time, I've been involved with the city of Northport in various ways, and I guess I'm driven, Joe, by the fact that I think we could do better. We could do better in a lot of ways, and I hate to see Northport missing out on some things that we could really be reaping the benefits on.
Sure. Well, I'll just get right into it and ask you about the current mayor, Dr. John Hinton, and the previous mayor, Danny Higdon. Really, just what do you think that they have done well in their roles as mayor, and what are you taking from their terms as mayor?
Well, let me address that question this way. You said Dr. Hinton was appointed mayor. He was elected city council. He was appointed mayor. Bobby Herndon was mayor leading up to that. Um, when you get into politics, when you sign your name on that piece of paper, you open yourself up. So I applaud anyone that has opened themselves up because they care for their city as much as those two men have. Those two men have had great careers, not only in the city of Northport, but in their businesses and in their careers. Dr. Hinton in education. Um, so I hope to carry on that by doing great things. Those guys led the city well. I want to dive right into this right here and say, just because we disagree doesn't mean that we're enemies and we think the other is evil. And I'm sure if you had those two guys sitting here, if you had the other candidates sitting here, they would probably disagree with me in a lot of areas, and that's good.
Yeah.
That gives the public, that gives the citizens the opportunity to pick who they best align with, and that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. So I told you just a little bit before we started. I live in District 1.
Mhm.
I moved into District 1 in spring of 20, but I've lived in the Tuscaloosa area really since 2008, 2009, all over Tuscaloosa and
Mhm.
Northport or so. But I'm a homeowner in District 1, and I've really gotten interested in some of this stuff because of just what you see online. Lots of back and forth, lots of disagreeing,
Sure,
as you
sure.
say. And so I don't really know what the issues are that Northport faces, and really what the mayor does. I've seen Danny Higdon really with kind of his community outreach focus, but now that John Hinton has been as mayor, I haven't really. Oh, what does the mayor do? What can the mayor's role be? Obviously, we see the city council voting on this issue, that issue, 3-2, 4-1, 5-0, whatever the issue is. How do you see the mayor's role in Northport?
The mayor's role is very clearly defined by the League of Municipalities in the state of Alabama. We haven't done a good job of sticking to that. We've allowed, and I'm not going to go into all those details. The past is the past, and
Sure.
we'll kind of stay with that. All I want to see is that the roles, as outlined by the League of Municipalities in the state of Alabama. I want to see those roles followed because those roles are there, Joe, as a check and balance to how government should work. And that's why I feel that our government here in Northport has lost the trust of the people. They've lost the ear. I'm not going to say we've lost the ear of the people. Our government has lost the voice because the people want to listen, but they can't seem to get anybody to talk.
Sure.
So if you go back, and I'll kind of dive into this, if you go back and look, local government, municipal government is basically just like the federal government. It's broken down into three areas: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch.
Sure.
And the mayor is the executive branch, and the city council is the legislative branch. And we've kind of gotten away from that, meaning the mayor never has a vote. It was stated the other night in the forum that the mayor breaks ties. That's incorrect. The mayor does not have a vote in any time. The mayor,
hard to have a tie with a 5-person count.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have a tie with five, but the mayor doesn't have a vote if you only had 4 and you had 2-2. The mayor doesn't have a vote.
Sure.
Okay. The mayor is there to deal more with the day-by-day operations of the city. The mayor is there to be the face and the voice of the city for the people to hear. And the mayor is there to get projects and bring projects to the city council. The city council if you get down to it, the mayor can't form a budget. The mayor can't dictate a budget. The mayor can compile the information for the budget, but it's left up to the city council to vote and pass that. It's left up to the city council. The city council has the powers that deal with their side. The mayor has the day-to-day operations. Now in Northport, we have a city administrator.
Yep.
And the city administrator is technically the supervisor or the manager of the city. The mayor and the city administrator have to be able to work close together.
Sure.
To make sure that the day-to-day operations are carried through in a way that is translated back to the council and make sure that the wishes of the council are done by the operations.
So what's made you want to assume this role? What made you want to be a public facing figure into politics and say, oh, I can be that person that is the PR person, is the face of Northport, and really works hand in hand with the future city administrator and the future city council?
I think our city has lost its professionalism. The public doesn't see it as very professional. I think we need to reestablish some operations. We have some of the best employees in the world. I know most of them. They do a great job. The department heads, the workers in the departments, the people in City Hall, they really do a great job. They want to do a good job. But when you have a council, and I'm going to say it, and some of my folks are going to get upset for me saying this. When I say some of my folks, I'm talking about some of the ones that are on the city council. I know all of them. But they've kind of been a little dysfunctional. And they've kind of went and locked themselves in their rooms. And that's not what the city needs. Not now. And so we've got to get out of that mode. And I want my whole goal here is to lead the city back to the forefront. When people look at us, Joe, they don't laugh at us. Northport's not the joke that we have been for the last 18 months or so. And people can act like they don't know what I'm talking about, but everybody knows everybody's heard the jokes about the pile of dirt or any other thing. Everybody's heard the jokes.
Yep.
And I'm tired of that.
Well, what would be your path to eliminate the jokes, get people to take Northport seriously, and to really be communicating to the people, letting them feel heard a little bit more?
We got to do one thing, and that's earn the trust. That you put capital letters on the word earn. You can't command trust. You can't demand trust. You have to earn the people's trust. And that's got to be project number one. We have to earn their trust. And it doesn't matter if the news that we deliver is not exactly what we had hoped to deliver. We just need to deliver the truth, and we need to deliver the whole truth, not just little bits and pieces, and not do backdoor deals and on the table stuff. We have to earn the city's trust by being open, transparent, and accountable. And that's kind of been the basis of my campaign from word go. Common sense leadership, be open, be transparent, and be accountable.
Well, let's talk about maybe some of these jokes or the reason for some of these jokes, and that is the misconceptions or really confusion around University Beach, the project that's right over there, uh, starting up. I'll just very generally ask you, what's your opinion on the University Beach project, the water park, the expanded lagoon, maybe the housing development, the whole project? What's your opinion and perspective on
Well, you
University
kind of
Beach?
summed it up: confusion. You know, I'm going to answer that as a person in the fourth quarter of their life. I like to say that because I am getting
Halftime.
halftime, maybe. Uh, Look, I'm against the project. I have been against the project since it started,
Sure.
but I have never, all through this campaign, if you go back and look at the times I've talked about University Beach, I have not talked about the project itself yet because I can't get to it. The way it was handled, the way it's been presented, the way it's been dealt with, the just everything leading up to the first scoop of dirt being dug has been wrong. So I don't even need to get to the other part because I can't get past this. To me,
Sure.
this project's wrong by the way it was handled. You know, if you wouldn't run your household, you wouldn't run your business this way. And so I have to be against the project because if I say, "Hey, I love the project" or "I like the project," then that means I like the way all this has been done, and I'm 100% against that. Now, I will, for the first time in this election, we will talk about the project.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to see some numbers that actually add up because some of the numbers that have been presented to that I've been able to see and that the public has been able to see don't add up. So I'm gonna have to see a lot more detail before I can say I'm all in with the project if you had handled it differently. So right now I have no choice to say I'm against it. And I can't support something that I'm against. Now, does that mean yeah, I'm not sitting here and people are trying to we're going into the ninth inning of the election
That's true.
and people are starting to we were talking before we went live, we were talking about how people will talk for you
Hmm.
and people are starting to talk for me. I'm not saying that we can or we're going to stop this.
Hmm.
What I have said from day one is we will examine it to its core and we will do what is the best decisions from here on for the city. That could be everything from the project coming to a halt to it being completed in its entirety. I don't know, but I know we're going to do what's best for the city, not what certain people want or think. We're going to do what's best for the city.
What do you think might be best for the city? Obviously, you don't have all the information on what the project looks like, and I don't want to hold you to any of that. But what, with everything that's been talked about, what do you think might be the best thing for the city? I've heard 600,000 people a year, and maybe that's great. Maybe it's not. I've heard, traffic studies. I've heard, we're going to get a lot of retail and businesses around it. And that makes me excited. And I hear just all kinds of just talk. And
Yeah.
so it's hard to know really what it is and what it will be. But if you had to maybe put a guide to it, what would you like it to end up being?
Okay. Obviously, if I had a crystal ball, I'd love to be able to see down the road 3 or 4 or 5
It's
years and see what it is.
impossible.
Because if everything that has been presented, the little bit of information that's been presented, if all that were to come true, obviously that'd be a great benefit.
Sure.
But we just don't know. Here's what I would like to see. This is what I'm driven to make sure we accomplish. We have to have some form of a finished, complete project, a downscaled project, field in its entirety, a change of direction, whatever it may be. We have to have a complete project, a partially complete project, an abandoned project. Those will hurt the city, not just leave it as it is. Whatever the best route is chosen to be from here on, it has to be a complete project. And once that decision is made, once everything is looked at, and I'll say this for the first time, I have tried to talk to the developers and they won't talk to me. There may be coming a time where they have to, and I can get some answers. And I want to hear those answers because we have to find a point that can be reached that is good for the city, and that needs to be where we go to. I'm all about I'll take a few chances, but I'm not going to bet the city on a pipe dream. So we're going to have to find a reachable point that everyone can live with that is good, and we have to complete that because whatever we have here, again, I'm going to say this, whatever we have here, be it the whole project has been thrown out there, a complete project or something else, it has to be a complete project.
I was ready to move off it, but your last comment makes me a little bit curious. As an outsider, do you not? I'm an outsider to the project. I have no control, and I'm not about to be in city government, so there's no reason for anybody to talk to me about it. It just seems unusual. Do you not find it unusual that the developer might not want to talk to a potential future mayor?
That's their choice. That's their choice. I don't care.
Sure.
Right now, you summed it up. I'm running for the office of mayor. I hope and would appreciate everyone's support, and I hope I get elected. So talking to me right now, there's no obligation. I'm not. I don't walk around in the day mad because they wouldn't talk to me. How dare them? No. And I don't want to say, what I said, that there may be coming a time where they have to talk to me. I don't want that to sound like a threat because it's not. There just may be a day coming to where they have to talk to me. And I may can get some answers.
Sure.
Or I may can ask some questions that I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm going with that. But whatever we land on, it has to be a complete project.
Well, let's talk about a complete project right now, or one that's at least a massive phase is complete. Saturday, and I'll likely be releasing these on Saturday morning of the opening of River Run Park. We'll just throw it right out there. What do you think of River Run Park being open, and what will that do for the city? And how can a mayor really encourage River Run Park to be a success?
I love it. I love the park. I'm a youth baseball, softball guy. I've done it for a little over 30 years, and I've been involved with youth sports. I think it is a great addition to the community, and it's a great addition for our youth of the area to play in. As anything, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to have to be some amenities added around it for it to be successful in the way that it wants to be successful. Hotel and some restaurants and some other things to bring the tournament style ball into play. Either way, we've won. Now, I will applaud everyone at the city of Northport, elected and employees, that has worked on that project. I will pat them on the back. That is a great project. Now we just have to make it be successful. You can build it, but you can't build success. You have to earn it. You have to work at it. And I'm anxious to see what the next few years do. It's a shiny penny right now. The first year is going to be really good. Can we sustain it? Can we keep it going? I think we can, but it's going to take work.
Got to keep it shiny. Got to keep people coming in.
Absolutely. You got to keep a reason for people to come.
Absolutely. And so I'm excited to see that on Saturday.
I'm thrilled to death with it. Thrilled to death with it. It's a beautiful facility. Beautiful facility. I've been all over the Southeast to sports facilities, and we now can say we have as good as anybody. And I'm pleased that it's here. I'm proud to call Northport home and that it's here in Northport. And I'm looking for big things.
We're talking to Dale Phillips. He's a candidate for mayor. We want to encourage everybody, please get out to the polls August 26th. We had pretty poor turnout in the last municipal election. We'd like to encourage everybody, find your polling location and get out August 26th. I heard you at the Northport Forum on Tuesday night talking about polling locations. And I live in District 1. I know mine's right up the road at City Hall. But as I've come into interest in local politics late, it seemed like there's been confusion on polling locations. What's your opinion on all the polling locations? Because I'm not asking from a point of knowing anything, but it seems like there's just am I registered? Am I in the right polling location? I actually had one of the city council candidates say, I don't think you're registered right, Joe. And I did go get registered. So I was appreciative of that. But just how would you speak to the confusion of maybe where should I go vote or am I registered? These sorts of conversations.
You know, we have a perfect storm going here. And I say that because not only do we have new polling facility, new polling locations, but we also have redrawn districts for the first time. And you put those two together with the confusion that each one brings, and now we have people that don't know what district they vote in, and they don't know where the voting location for that district's at. So we have some problems. And then you throw into that, a couple of them are not in the best locations to be, either due to traffic or road construction, or just various things.
Sure.
So let me say that we could sit here and we could talk about redrawing the districts, or we could talk about changing locations into different facilities. It's done. Okay,
Sure.
the districts are drawn, the voting locations are determined. Now, I want to encourage people, get out and vote. Plan to vote. Be prepared. If you're in some of these areas that are close to have been redrawn, plan to have a little confusion. This is the most important election Northport has had in probably 75 years.
Wow.
And it takes everybody to get out and vote. Get out and make your voice heard. That's how you get things changed. If you say our leaders are not listening to us, well, if only 18% of the registered voters vote, then that, that it's hard to fight that. If you saying our elected officials are not listening to us and 60% get out and vote, now you're starting to get into the realm of, we've got a problem.
Yeah.
And we need to listen.
Yeah.
So high voter turnout is a must right here. Get out and vote. Research your candidates. People have more avenues to research their candidates now than ever before.
Mhm.
Research your candidates. Ask your neighbors. Ask your friends. Social media. Go back and look at what people are saying. Go back and hear things like this podcast right here. Go back and watch the forum. Find the candidate that you best align with and vote. Make your voice heard. No louder voice than a vote.
Absolutely. And you guys can make your voice heard on August 26th. So I cannot encourage you enough to find your polling locations and get out there, no matter which side you're on, which candidate you like, go out and vote. Absolutely. So we'll continue. I'll have a few more questions here. And really, it's about drawing businesses into Northport. It's kind of the next stage of our conversation. What would you say? Obviously, the mayor's role in that is. And what would you like to see come to Northport? What do you think the best methods are to attracting economic growth in Northport?
I think that's probably one of the most important areas for the mayor, is to go out and recruit businesses, to find people and bring them in, and work with them on what they need and want, and what the city needs and wants. Because at the end, when it's all put together, then that gets presented to the city council to approve or not approve, or say, we like it, but you got to do this. It goes back to that checks and balances that we talked about.
Yes, sir.
I think the mayor's job is to get out and find new growth, new business. We need good, sustainable growth that we can move forward with across the city. Northport needs, in my opinion, we need to take the attitude that we want you here. I want you here. I'm going to try to get you here. Because if you do that, if you take that attitude and you get the ball rolling in the right direction, then it slowly turns around to where we want to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
it doesn't just start that way. The ball will set still unless someone starts it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we need to do.
What about small businesses? We got a lot of small business in Northport. What would you say is the mayor's role in supporting the small businesses that are existing, that are already here, making sure that they have what they need as far as really just city support?
You got to know what they need first, and we've got to figure out the best way to to translate that information from them into what we can do.
Sure.
You know, you can transfer information. That just means that what they need, you've got. We got to figure out a way to translate it. They need X, we can do Y. How do we get here?
Sure.
You know, that's what we have to do. We owe it to our businesses, Joe, to support them. Now, every time I say this, people try to slam me like I don't understand how bid laws work. I've only dealt with it for 30 some odd years. So when I say we need procedures in place that protect our local businesses against outside bidders, what I mean is we need, and we need some kind of a resolution that says if you're an outside business and you're bidding against one of our businesses here in Northport for city business, you have to beat them by a certain percentage, and that would be left up to the city council to determine what that would be. That's a way of taking care of our home businesses.
Yeah.
You're in Tuscaloosa. You have to beat a Northport business by 10%. That's fair. That is fair. I think Tuscaloosa does it. That's fair. We need to work to find ways to stay within the state bid law guidelines for public entities, but yet still buy locally. And there are ways to do that. I think we owe that to our business, our local businesses. We also need to find a way to help them promote their business, whatever way that would be. I have some ideas, but we'll just have to talk with some businesses and see how they feel about that. But we definitely need to promote our local businesses.
We're talking to Dale Phillips, and we've been talking about the issues that are facing Northport. Just a big, broad, general question. Living here for so long, how would you define the heart of Northport? How would you define what Northport is about, the fabric that is Northport? You see a lot of people, well, that doesn't fit Northport, or this doesn't fit Northport. What is Northport to you?
Home. And that's what it needs to be to everybody. You can go, I say this, we're never going to have a Mercedes in Northport. We're not going to have a University of Alabama, Nucor Steel, Goodrich. We're never going to lure them across the river. What we need to do is we need to support those businesses by being home to everyone that works there, by providing an atmosphere that makes you want to live here and drive to those places, makes you want to raise your family here, makes your kids want to go to school here. All those things Northport can be. And that's where we fit into the grand plan that makes up Tuscaloosa County. That's where we fit into it. And Northport does a good job already, but there's a lot more that we can do.
And really, the last question that's on my list here is about education. Northport has 10 schools in the Northport city limits. Now, obviously, they're part of the Tuscaloosa County school system and city, and so there's often confusion on what city government can do for the schools right here in Northport. We heard on Tuesday, and we've heard from several people that the city has given $350,000 per year of the 1 cent sales tax over the last several years across various projects. What would be your mission, or what would be your thoughts on how people, you see it in the comments, we got to do better for our kids, we got to do better for our schools. When you see comments like that, what's your response, or what do you think the mayor can do for situations like that to improve the quality of the 10 schools that are in Northport?
Okay. Let me take you back 5 years.
Please.
5 years ago, when I ran for mayor and lost to Bobby, I ran on a platform of the city needs to help the schools. And I had a list of things that we needed to do, put money in the schools, help the athletics at our major high schools, do things like that. Since then, the city has helped with athletics, with improvements. They have started giving, I believe you said $350,000. When I ran 5 years ago, I got told that was illegal and that I should just be on the school board, not try to be mayor. If you go back and check some of the comments, you'll see that. So by me running on that platform, We now are up to 350,000 a year, and we've already done some things to help. We can help. We can help, and we will help the schools in our city. The first thing we have to do, and this is kind of a sidebar to the question
please,
that
wherever you wanna go.
you asked, we have to get back and in this race right here, Joe, we don't have an incumbent.
Right.
Okay, so I my opinion is what I'm about to say, and the others can have their opinions on this, and no one outweighs the other because we're not an incumbent. But I'm telling you, the city of Northport has some damaged relationships with other governmental entities around here that have to be repaired. We have to be able to get back to the table and sit down and talk about these projects. Now, if you ask some people that are in office, they'll tell you everything's fine. Well, I've heard that, but I also have talked to commissioners and school boards and people across the river in Tuscaloosa. I know a lot of those people, and I've talked to them, and I know where the relationships stand. And I don't know whose fault it is, but I know this: it can't always be just one person's fault or one side's fault. Everybody has to work to get to the table. I think I can bring that to the game. I think that's going to be a strong point: is getting people to the table and not giving up until we reach a resolution. I think we can sit down with the county school board, and if we talk in the right way, if we can get everybody talking at the table about what can we do and not what we want you to do, then we'll get something accomplished. We just have to get the right conversation started. And I think the amount of help that we can help our schools will be greatly needed. And when we do that, we improve the school experience for our children here in Northport, which we need. But when we improve the experience here, that will help the county school board improve the experience at places that lie outside the city. Mm-hmm. So not only are we going to make our schooling for our children in our city better, we're going to help the whole county, or we stand to. And I think that would be a great feather in the city of Northport's cap if we could sit back and say, we stand with our schools. It's easy to say you stand with it, but you need to do it.
Yeah. Well, Dale, we've talked about several of the issues that the city faces. I'll just kind of leave it kind of this next question, or this last little question, up to you. Is we've talked about University Beach, we've talked about economics in general, transparency in the city, better communication to the citizens, now a little bit of education. What else do you think is on your heart, or what else is important, or what do you think, man, I wish you would have asked me about this. I wanted to talk about that part of my platform. It would lead us in an area that you think needs to be talked about as we face elections on August 26th?
I think we need to get everyone on board with the fact that we have to listen to our people, because we're talking about shaping lives for generations to come, and we have to listen. To me, Dale's meager opinion here, we're missing out on our riverfront area, in our downtown area. That's such a beautiful place, such a nice place to be. It just needs to be expanded and improved.
I do love walking down there. Take the dog walking. Perfect.
I love our downtown area, but it needs to be expanded. There needs to be more choices. There needs to be more activities. And we're missing out. We're missing out. Yeah. And I want to see that occur. That I want to see our downtown just blow up. And people say, "Oh, downtown, you talking about like Tuscaloosa?" No, I encourage people to go to places like Laurel and other small towns and see what they've done with their downtown. It's a great experience, but it's an experience the whole family can enjoy. And that's what we need in our downtown. And when you get that, then people will live here. And when people live here, we'll get more people, more areas to shop, more retail, more experiences for them to enjoy. It's the chicken and the egg, which comes first. You get a big box store and people move in, or you get people to move in and you get a big box store. I don't know. people smarter than I am and in that business, that they'll help you make that decision. We have to quit. We have to quit demonizing growth. I'm for growth. I'm for good, sustainable growth in the right direction. We have to quit demonizing. We have to quit demonizing people that try to grow. We just have to control it and make it be what we want it to be. And that's where I hope to lead us.
He's Dale Phillips, and you can vote for him on August 26th, the Northport Municipal Elections. Mr. Phillips, I'll just leave you the last word to speak to the people, and then we'll get out of here. I really appreciate your time.
Man, I think it's been great. It's been great. All I can say is this is the most important election we have had in my lifetime. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Pay attention to what's going on. Plan your day on August 26th to get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Research your candidates. Listen to interviews. You know, I know a lot of times elections can be a lot of different things, but know what you want from this election and look at the candidates that best fit what you see Northport needs to be doing.
Mr. Phillips, thank you so much for your
Joe,
time. We look
thank
forward
you.
to seeing how it goes on August 26th.
We will. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep getting to know our mayoral candidates as the elections face us on August 26th.